in Uganda. Bramwell Bwire, KTN News, Kisumu.
All right. Now, there was that theme about competitiveness. When we talk about NSC, it's all about competitiveness. Now, Uganda are reconsidering. They want to get their oil through Tanzania. Can this be managed, and if so, how?
I think that's a difficult one, not least because Kenya has spent quite a bit on the oil jetty in Kisumu. That cost quite a bit for the country. So there's an expectation that that investment would really reap into the decades. So for such a sudden move to happen, obviously it complicates the mathematics. Obviously from Uganda's perspective, moving their oil through Tanzania is a much longer route. So that would actually, for them, incur more expensive costs in terms of the fees, and part of it would actually be on road, as opposed to Kenya where it's fully by a pipeline. So it's also hard to understand the viability on Uganda's making that decision. But as the leaders have said, there's much that needs to be discussed.
Exactly. Prof, we think about, especially we say Kenya is the inroad into Africa, is the gateway into Africa. But in the recent times, we've seen also our counterparts in the East African region are becoming very competitive, not business-wise. Everyone is thinking about commercial viability. How can I make sure investors are finding it a little bit easier to operate in this country, attracting that foreign investment and making it easier for businesses. From where you sit assessing the government policy that we have currently vis-a-vis this larger goal of being competitive in East and Africa in general, are they in sync or are they out of sync?
Both sides, because we see a government policy that is trying to attract investors, trying to attract the people, foreigners to come and invest. But there is the other side of it, which is on the taxes. That is doing to us a lot of damage, because you want to produce where you will be able to pay less tax. So one will actually be able to compare the operations in Uganda, Tanzania, and see where they pay less tax, and then that's where they build their farm. So probably the other part will just be to consume. But it's important that the farm be established in our country, not that we are consumers of that particular product. So we really need to look at some of the imperfections, especially in the taxation part of it. So we will do the attraction by giving incentives. I think we are not that badly off in trying to attract. If you saw what, I think it must have been Nairobi Northgate the other day, just as a way of trying to encourage people to come and do business, put up something. So we are doing that part, but we also need to look at our taxing area.
And the cost implication of this regards to maybe working on some areas and lagging on some areas. Like this one seems to be very critical. I mean, that's a whole, we're servicing the Ugandan market. I can imagine the trucks, because I know a lot of trucks are dispatched from Nakuru Depot, some Eldoret Depot. Those are drivers on the road. Now talk about Kisumu Oil Jetty. And the jet was even made in Uganda, by the way. So are they repurposing that? And will we see even the Tanzanian side of like Victoria now thinking about also putting up similar infrastructure? What does that mean for Kenya,
Right. No, you're absolutely spot on, Noah. The economic benefits are quite significant. And it's important Kenya tries its best to retain that relationship. Uganda is our closest trading partner. And part of that trade, as you've said, is driven by fuel and the periphery industries. The oil marketers too stand to lose big time, because the oil marketers make margins from when they import and what they sell to Uganda. So that's an industry that could easily be rocked. So I think the bigger theme is what you've said about competitiveness. We need to make sure Kenya remains the hub of East Africa. We are getting far too much competition. Tanzania is providing economic stability. If you look at the airline industry, Ethiopia is playing a big role. Rwanda is working with Qatar. So we have to make serious moves as a country to remain competitive because everybody else is making big investments.
Exactly. And still on this particular issue, Azimio la Umoja leader, Raila Odinga, is now demanding the immediate cancellation of the oil deal initiated by President William Ruto. And this he says, he says that the deal went against the initial government-to-government oil deal. It remains a mystery, according to Raila Odinga, and he says that the mystery is how Gulf Energy, Galana Oil Limited, and Oryx Energies Kenya Limited got nominated to handle local logistics. He claims that the deal signed mid this year has seen Kenya lose billions of shillings in taxes since the three companies were picked